Welcome back, guys. It's the Tightwad, and today I'm going to show you how I do easy skin on salmon on the big green egg, and you don't need any special attachments to do this. Let's get started. The first thing I do when I'm going to grill salmon on the big green egg is I take the salmon and I put it in a saltwater brine. So I take this coarse ground salt and I put it in a pot with lukewarm water. Lukewarm means barely above cold, not hot. You don't want it to start cooking the salmon. You just want the salmon to soak in this, and it's going to draw in some of the salt and pull out some of the fat all at the same time. So I set it in a saltwater brine. I try to let it stay in there for about an hour, but as long as I can get at least 30 minutes, I think it's worth doing. So after I add this Hawaiian rock salt, I stir it in to dissolve all of the salt. Then I simply take my skin-on salmon and submerge it in the water and just let it sit. Tonight I'm only cooking for my family of 4, which is me, my wife, and my 2 young daughters. So I only have 3 fillets of salmon in my saltwater brine, and that's more than enough to feed our family. My salmon fillets have been brining for about 30 minutes now, and I'm going to have them brining for about another 30 minutes and then about 15 minutes of dry time. So it's time to light the egg to get it ready, and I like to light my egg now with an oil-soaked paper towel. You can use any type of cooking oil to soak the paper towel, and then you simply light it and add your lump on top, and it has become the easiest, most consistent way I've found to light my egg. I always like to light my lump from the bottom because fire naturally will climb as it burns, and I have a better chance of it igniting the whole basket of lump if I light it from the bottom. So once I light it, I make sure that my upper and lower vent are wide open, but I also leave my egg open for about 10 to 15 minutes to let it get going nice and hot before I close it down and start adjusting my vents to the temperature that I want to cook at. It's been 10 minutes and you see my fire is going strong, so I'm going to shut my egg and I'm going to go to what I know is about 450. On mine, every egg seems to be different. I had a different egg before that was my brother's, and about 450 on mine is there on the bottom and usually about here on the top, but I'm going to let it sit and stabilize for about 15 or 20 minutes. I'll take the salmon out of the brine and let them start air drying. All right, so the salmon has been in the brine for about 45 minutes to an hour now, and I'm going to pull the fillets out and lay them on a pan to start to air dry. If you're in a hurry here, you could use a paper towel to dry up some of the moisture on them, but I just put them on a little cookie cooling sheet over the top of a pan to catch any of the water that drips off, and I'll let them air dry, and then we'll put some olive oil on them, put some rub on them, and get them on the grill. All right, so I made these foil boats just by taking some aluminum foil, doubling it up, and making it into this rectangle with the sides pulled up to hold all the moisture in. I'm now going to take some olive oil and drizzle it over the top of the salmon. I'll use my hand, or you can use a brush, to make sure that the oil coats the whole piece of salmon. Next, I'm going to take my clean hand and use my rub. Today I'm using the Honey Hog Barbecue rub from Meat Church, but any type of sweet rub is good to me. I'm just going to shake it liberally on the salmon and repeat the process for my other 2 fillets. And then they're ready for the egg. I did have to close my grates down a little bit because I was getting a little high on my temperature, but I've got it right around 400 now, which is fine for cooking this salmon. I've tried salmon on both a salt block and cedar plank, and I don't think that it imparts much flavor if the salmon is skin on. If it was skinless, yes, it would give some flavor to it, but I like using the foil just for the ease of use. It's easy to put on the egg, to move around if it gets on a hot spot, and to pull off of the egg. So we're going to let this salmon sit on here, and I'm cooking to temperature. I'm going to cook it till it gets to an internal temperature of 145 degrees. So I'm not using a permanent probe today, but I am going to probe it for doneness as needed. Typically when you start seeing the oil runoff turning black, the salmon should be about ready. So I'm going to check with my probe here. And you see we are about good to go. I'll try another piece. I usually move them around at least once during the cook. I already moved them once. I'm gonna move them again now. And again, using the foil makes that super easy. All right, so my salmon probed at about 144. I'm gonna go ahead and take it off now. And I just carry it back inside on a cookie sheet. What all the people who use the egg don't tell you is that they don't always put on a show every time they egg. Practical is easier sometimes. I'm done with the egg for the night, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut down my vents here. And this salmon is ready to be plated and eaten. We frequently pair our grilled salmon with sweet potatoes and broccoli because everyone in our family eats all three of those items. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions about the cook, make sure you put them in the comments section below. If you don't mind, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I have lots of videos of big green egg cooks and repairs around the home. I put a link in the description for the video to Fogo charcoal. It's by far my favorite lump to use. If you haven't tried it yet and you click the link, you'll get 10% off your first order. I hope you guys have a great day.